Hi everyone, my name is Andrew
Hi everyone, my name's Jay.
and we are TVER, Tees Valley Exercise Referral. And here we're going to give you an overview of what our business is, what our aims are, and why we think our idea is very unique to the region, but also how it will not only help improve the region's health, how it is key to maintaining student retainment through their start of their education, both at colleges and at unis.
So just as Andrew said there, we're just going to give you the layout of the situation with the health within the region of Tees Valley, and then look how that affects the student community, and then explain obviously how the exercise referral scheme will work within further and higher education, and then look beyond that into how we sell this and the benefits to Tees Valley.
Okay, so to give some context in terms of how widening the ranges of health within the Tees Valley is and are. So with my own research into my PhD looking at the sedentary lifestyles of the Tees Valley, in particular, life expectancy in some wards is one of the lowest, if not the lowest, in England, and in some streets, particularly in Middlesbrough along the North Ormsby area, if you were to walk through it, like across the ward, your on paper your life expectancy would actually drop. And the reason being for this, there's a lot of factors that would affect one's healthy lifestyle. That could be the rate of crime in the area, the barriers to being physically active, the lack of green space, the air cleanliness, like the air pollution, whatnot, and these and access of cheap fast foods. The lack of access to fresh fruit and veg, the financial status, so socioeconomic status of the residents of the area. So there's a range of reasons and factors of how this can influence one's overall picture of health, and the structures would influence this on the individual's point of view. Other things are affecting the area which are quite prominent now because of COVID. The child poverty rates both across Stockton, Redcar, Cleveland, and Middlesbrough are some of the worst and highest within England. And our 5 local authorities that make up the Tees Valley, so Darlington, Hartlepool, Redcar, Cleveland, Middlesbrough, and Stockton-on-Tees, and they all sit within the top 35 most deprived local authorities in England out of 317. As you can see here from the table, across the last 20 years of collecting data on the Index of Multiple Deprivation, or IMD. So again, some more information just to show how this is changing. So this is from my PhD here. So I collected 1,247 participants from October 2020 to February 2021. And again, from this, the majority of my participants are classed as low-level physical activity scores, meaning they're doing less than 30 minutes of physical activity per week. And there's a strong negative correlation which shows the more time you spend sitting per a day, the less physically active you are. But also, the group who are most physically active spend the least amount of time being sat down. And there's obviously a correlation and evidence now showing that the more time you spend engaging in sedentary behaviors, your likelihood will increase to develop obesity, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, stress, stroke, coronary heart disease, and other mental health related illnesses. And again, just to build on this here with the IMD scores on the previous page, there's another strong correlation showing as an area gets more deprived, the number of takeaways in the area increases significantly. And obviously, as you can see, source here, as the deprivation gets closest to 1, being the most deprived local council, the number of takeaways increases as well.
So following on from what Andrew just said, and going on to the work that I've done within the community as well. So within Tees Valley, I worked on the GP referral exercise schemes and within local councils, and I was in charge of looking after the diabetes type 2 clinics and the pre-diabetic clinics. each year I would see the younger generations coming through, and I would see families of generations as well. So I'd work with grandparents, parents, and then their children as well. And each one started, their health decline started from a younger age. And it got to the point where I was actually working in the lifestyle intervention with Andrew at the university with students, and in the clinics within the local council, I was working with their parents and grandparents. So this is why this service is so needed, and why there needs to be a change in the structure of it, because how it's working at the moment isn't helping everybody. It's helping the ones who are retired and the ones who can make the times for the very rare slots that the councils are putting on for people because of their limited resources. Whereas for us, we can cater a lot more different times, you know, lifestyle and working hours. And our model is based around behaviour change and more of a lifestyle intervention because it's based on education and research focused, whereas the council ones are just more about the basic guidelines that the government give. So they do help to a certain extent, but they can't actually hit those higher criteria that we can. So when you're looking at this sort of scheme from a student perspective and looking at sort of the detrimental effects this has on students, you can see that due to the decline in students' mental health, the majority of them aren't even getting through university. So within the Tees Valley area, obviously Teesside University is the most probable university that they will attend. The numbers have dropped from 71.4% to 75% of the last few years. If I said that the wrong way around. No, they were from 75%, the completion rate has dropped to 71.4%. So meaning within 2018 to 2019, there was 230 students that dropped out within the first 50 days of the term starting. And again, this is due to the high levels of stress and anxiety that students are facing due to the lack of support and due to the crisis within the mental and physical health. So how this service will fit in within this area, the waiting lists are already up to 6 months within our counselling services in the university. And then when you're looking around the broader area, CAMHS waiting lists are now up to 12 months. And with obviously the pandemic, you're looking at higher. Same for the GPs and NHS trust services. So they're over 12 months waiting lists now for people to get referred to services, never mind to actually get seen. And, you know, again, it's just the lack of resources and lack of funding within the services. So the council run classes can only cater for very few times per day, and they have to hit maximum capacity in order for the sessions to be financed and be able to run. Whereas we can again work with individuals because we're looking at for the colleges and universities to support our business. So then we can cater for a wide range of students, but we can give them that individual and that quality of service that will help them get through the referral scheme. So that's why, you know, it is much more behavioural change and based on lifestyle intervention, because this is how you make it fit within the individual. So again, it's not about a quick fix and just teaching them how to do exercises. It's teaching them the education behind it, why they need it, why it's important they do it, and get them to fit it in around their lifestyle rather than them making the time to come and see us. They make the time for themselves within their lifestyle instead. And by doing this, you know, you're creating happier and more confident individuals who are more likely to succeed in their degree, succeed in their job paths, which overall will help the community grow and become a healthier one.
So how will this scheme then look? It's very much we've set up as we work in 3 stages. So step 1, there'll be a referral process, and that will either be the form of the students can self-refer themselves via a web page or link, or we'll have like an on-site office, or we'll like work work within a university or college's team, or the university and colleges with their own departments or schools or their own counselling mental health service, they'll create a referral process so they can be sent to us. So that way, for example, looking at the university's own counselling service, we'll help take off the strain of the workload that they're facing, because many of these students, to help them with anxiety and stress, all they need is to be able to show them how to exercise in a targeted approach that will have benefit their own mental health, but their physical health. It will give them targeted goals and whatnot, and they can put these goals alongside their actual university work, and they can create a more balanced everyday routine that leads into a weekly routine, monthly, and then yearly routine. So it has a positive knock-on effect throughout. The sessions themselves will be a mixture of one-to-one, eventually to small groups, and some will be done online as well, just depending on the students' abilities and what their treatment or what they're seeking treatment for. Once the students have completed the actual referral scheme with us, we will then do follow-ups. And this is so that we can assess and see, A, are they adhering to the programs we've then given them, like the education and advice, because we're not there to like and make them rely on us. We're there to support them the whole way through, but also giving them the tools so that they're in charge. Very much, if you were to picture us as, we are the driver in a rally car, so we are the assistant driver in the rally car, giving out the routes and telling them whether to turn left or right. And very much we're teaching them where to go. And obviously, at let's say week 15, we could catch up with the student, and some students, it's like saying, "Oh, I've sort of slipped off a bit." That's fine. We can bring them in again, and again, we can help them with it. Because for some students, it may only take 6 weeks. Some students 8 weeks. Some students 10 or 12. Others may take a little bit longer as well. But for the students, there's no pressure on them, and there's no financial loss on them. And for us, we're going to be collecting a large amount of data to see how they have progressed from their starting point to their end point. And this is all aligned with GDPR guidelines, rules, and regs. And again, this data will be turned into a form of research papers as well. So it's actionable content. So the financial case for the scheme from both a college and university outlook is really good. So roughly, let's just take it looking at unis, undergrad students in their first year to third year are roughly paying nine grand a year. As Vic was saying earlier on in the presentation, from the 2018-19 academic year, 230 students dropped out within the first 50 days of the first term. In total, from that 1 year, the university would have lost 2.7 million in revenue, and plus more, because obviously students spending money on campus in the different shops, cafes, books, whatnot, and that money lost to the local economy as well. So it's a huge knock-on effect. And for us, and this particularly coming back from like a COVID, online learning, whatnot, we're going to see a huge surge of students returning to campus, not only just the ones who started their education during lockdown and before it, but obviously the new intake of students as well. We're going to offer like a non-clinical approach that's not going to be invasive or tense. It's going to be very, very friendly, very relaxed. And for us, we are predicting the move from online learning to face-to-face is going to be overwhelming for some students. So again, the actual need to have this, it makes sense also from the financial perspective of the university or college. It makes sense for them to like support a service as ourselves, because we're going to retain students for them, increase their grades, increase the outcomes, increase their retention rates, but also increase their overall revenue at the end of the year.
So how this would look is we're looking to use the Teesside University gym, as in this is a gym that's designed with students in mind. So it's an area that they feel comfortable within. And then we've set up partnerships within the local colleges, which are the feeder colleges for Teesside University. So we're working with Hartlepool College of Further Education and Middlesbrough College, where we've set up lifestyle intervention sessions for the students. And then to follow on with that, we're going to take them into the exercise referral scheme and hopefully get them into the university, or we're going to use the gyms within the colleges to train them. And then further from that, we've also developed working relationships and partnerships with the schools inside the university itself. So, for example, the business school and School of Computing are having us come in to do intervention work with the students, leading them to be referred to the exercise referral scheme. And, you know, we're just more than a business, because this isn't, as we haven't got a product that we show to sell to people, we're basically selling them a better version of themselves, a happier and more confident version of them, so they can achieve the goals that they want to achieve their dreams, their life dreams, and make sure that they are living their best and healthiest lives that they possibly can.
So the main question, obviously, with the work we're doing, is how much funding we would like to receive to help us begin helping more students, more colleges, more unis within the northeast of England, not just here. So to start, we were going to seek for £6,000, and from that £6,000, we're going to look at building our own website, and this looks obviously covering the hosting fees, domain names, the creation of it and whatnot, getting specific photos and everything for it, obviously covering the cost of our logos, the banners, whatnot, fuel and travel cost expenses, because we're going to be going out to and from the colleges and whatnot, some branded clothing for me and Vivek, and eventually our staff. We're eventually going to end up hiring staff in the form of internships and part-time jobs. And depending on how quickly we get clients and whatnot, how busy this ends up being, we do want to end up creating some full-time jobs. And next is then creating some CPD courses and attending some personal development courses for myself and Vic and our future staff. We're going to be always learning. And then finally, gym equipment, which we can travel to and from to the colleges and to the unis and whatnot. And then long term, because again, as I mentioned this a little bit in the previous slide, we can really see this growing, like really getting big, because this isn't like a Teesside a problem in terms of like health. Every region in England, every region in the UK has got different health issues, but every university will see students with anxiety and stress. Every college will see students with anxiety and stress. So for us, we can really scale this and actually deliver bespoke courses, or how to set up an exercise referral, like business in their own colleges and unis, so we can create more partnerships with them. And then that means that we can like feed in, and we can deliver more of an online offer as well. We're going to deliver more courses for clients and staff. And obviously, locally to the area, we're definitely going to continue our positive relationship with the colleges we have on board and the uni as well, to create student-led placements, so they can like get their hours for both, let's say, their physio degrees, their mental health, their sport and exercise science, public health, whatnot, and eventually create part-time work and full-time jobs as well. And then longer term, perhaps creating a bespoke venue where people can then come to us, or we're quite happy with the idea of using like a shared office workspace as well. You know, but then long term, we'd like to have our own venue with our own gym and facility in it.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. For more evidence, we've got a 10,000 word proposal just with more of the research and data back.